Hey everyone, it's Matt with Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews. We're here on Enchantment of the Seas. Enchantment is a Vision class ship. We are staying on Deck 7, room 7650. This is an ocean view balcony stateroom. So we're gonna go over the room, give you the tour, the ins and outs, and let you know at the end, would we stay in this room again? Let's check it out. We're in room 7650, as I pointed out before. This is towards the aft, so if you look to your right, just down there a little ways is the very aft of the ship, which means we're about 2/3 of the way down from the central lobby, which is up that way. Your muster station for this room is on Deck 5. It is muster station 11. As you enter the room, you do have your main light switch on your right immediately. You have your closet also on the right, some hooks for hanging bathrobes, towels, etc. on the left, along with the bathroom, which we'll get to in just a second. You also have a floor to ceiling mirror. And then the room itself, configuration, bed closest to the bathroom, further away from the balcony. I think most of you have heard by now that I prefer the bed to be closer to the balcony, but this is the configuration for this room on this ship. So the bed itself is the Royal King bed. This can be split into 2 singles if you need that. Do have a reading lamp on either side of the bed. Have some end tables here. 2 small drawers. I think I have my socks in that drawer. You also have another room light switch here. Have Mr. Towel Animal today. This side you have a much wider end table. Good sized drawers available to you, good amount of storage space, and as I pointed out before, another reading lamp. Note, this is an older ship, so you're not gonna have any type of outlets, power outlets, USB ports, none of that on an older ship. Next to the bed here, we do have the sofa. Now, right now, we have our son Ryan staying with us. This is where he's sleeping. This does pull out, the bottom section will pull out to make it a larger sleeper sofa. But since it's just Ryan, we just have it configured as a single for him. Here is a view of what the couch normally looks like when not set up as a bed. And just to note, there is another reading lamp here for those that use the couch as a bed or a sofa. Now we'll get into the vanity area. One theme I'm going to talk about with this room is the storage. Actually, for an older ship, I really think this room has really good storage, especially compared to some of the odd storage configurations you'll see on some of the newer ships. First thing you do have your 32-inch television here, so it is quite small, just a very basic television, no streaming capabilities, no digital capabilities. You do have a good amount of storage around the television itself. Even down underneath here, there are a few shelves, open shelves, and then up above, you have a storage cabinet. 3 shelves in here. And this is where your room safe is. It is a standard size, small safe, good for phones, passports, wallets, keys, that type of thing. You're not gonna be fitting in a tablet or a laptop computer. And then back down underneath the television, this is where you find your cooler. So open that up. It's okay sized, pretty typical for what you'll find on most Royal Caribbean ships. Again, it is a cooler. It will not keep things cold like your refrigerator at home, just on the cool side. Then moving over into the desk vanity area. It's a nice large shelf area on top. This is where your ship phone is. You have 3 drawers on either side of the chair. The chair was fair. I was working at the chair yesterday. But to show you one of these drawers, it's fairly deep. It's not super deep, but fairly deep. Not super wide, but it is a good amount of storage in those drawers. Then you have your mirror. Hello, everyone. And then on either side of the mirror, you can pull this back and you have a number of shelves for smaller items. There is a ledge up here. You can actually use that as a storage area if you want to. So what's it like for outlets on this ship? Well, on this side, you have your light control for your mirror, your volume control for the in-room speaker, and your phone jack. Over here, this is all the power for the main part of the room. So let me pull some of these adapters out. You have one 220-volt outlet, European, and then 2 US ports here. You can see we have our USB charging blocks plugged into them. Let's check out the closet area next. Right before you get to that, this is where your room HVAC control is. That is the in-room speaker. This HVAC control is just a simple dial. Right next to that, you have this very nice shelf area. Plenty of storage. This is where we put the majority of our clothing because it's just so easy to access. Then we have the main closet area. It's 2 doors. First set folds back like that. Other one opens up. A decent amount of storage. Not a huge amount of hangers, just about exactly what we needed though. Floor storage underneath, typically where we put our shoes. And then we haven't used these, but another set of 3 drawers. They're not very wide, but a nice place for additional storage. And a shelf up on top of them. There's a shelf up on top, though we do have our life jackets up there. So it's a decent size closet for a typical normal stateroom. We'll check out the bathroom next. You do have your light switch for your bathroom just before you head in. On the door, you have a number of hooks to use. You have your sink area here. It's a small shelf area around the sink, so not a lot of storage. There is a small shelf with a trash can underneath. Have a mirror area, and then shelving off to the left. So you have 4 shelves. I really always point out I like having a tall shelf. There's a drawer here that, whoa, that's really noisy. We just have some plastic bags in there. And then, ooh, so you have to move that trash can out of the way. A small cabinet here, not all that useful. Towel racks for all your towels. Standard ship toilet, that works fine. We are on an older ship. Enchantment is one of the Vision class ships. It's the oldest class that Royal Caribbean is still running as of this moment. So you do get the dreaded shower curtain rather than a glass or plexiglass type door shower enclosure. The shower itself, you do have the standard one. This does adjust up and down based on your preference. And you have your pressure and your heat controls and a shelf above that. One thing I'll tell you that's great about this shower, plenty of hot water and plenty of pressure. And you know, I'm a fan of that. They do provide you the Salt and Breeze hair and body wash, double duty. And then you do have a clothesline that you can put across. It's okay size. The curtain, with all the steam from the shower, it does blow in on you. Normally, we bring towel clips to clip on the bottom, so that is a pro tip. Bring towel clips along. We forgot them this time, and I wish we hadn't. I will say the one positive, though, to having a curtain, though, is when you're out of the shower, not using it, it does make the whole bathroom feel a little bit more open. There's no chance of you bumping your elbow into plexiglass because there's either a curtain or nothing there. Slight minor benefit for having a shower curtain bathroom. The window you have to the balcony is quite wide. We do enjoy that. Door to the balcony, no safety lock feature. That's typical on older ships. You just have the one standard handle, just a quarter turn, that opens it up, pulls aside, a little bit rough, but pretty easy to open and close. As you find on most older ships, again, the balcony isn't super wide this way, so you don't get room for any folding chairs with ottomans, just the standard chair. But that's worked well for us. You also get a decent sized table, more chairs. That right there is actually the table that sits in the middle of the living area in front of the sofa. We move it out here because we don't use it and it just gets in our way. We do have a bulkhead on this side, so you have a metal door. I don't believe this can be opened. I don't believe it's to connect at all on this side. So if you want a room that connects to both rooms on either side, like you can connect to this room, this can be opened here for an extra wide balcony if you know the people next to you. You can't do that on both sides. You don't have the full glass panes that you get on newer ships. The view is still great. You do have some opening there, but some metal along the bottom. Here is a view of the entire balcony. We are in Cozumel. We've got the good side of the ship where we're looking out to the ocean, and that's the Carnival celebration over there. On the other side of the ship, we've got the NCL Jewel. I'd much rather be looking at the ocean. One thing to note to Roy, if you're watching this, severely doubt you are, but needs to be a little maintenance out here. Definitely some repainting, some rust marks. Always hard to keep up with that with these ships being at sea year round. So would we stay in room 7560 here on Enchantment of the Seas again? Let's look at the pros and cons of this room. Pro, we like the location. We like a little bit of a walk from the elevators. That could be a pro for us. Could be a con for you if you're not looking to have that little bit of walk. The storage in this room, I think, is pretty decent. We fit all of our clothing with plenty of room to spare. We have not had that on some of the newer ships. Another pro, which will also be a con, is the shower. Plenty of hot water and plenty of pressure. We are a massive fan of that. And the balcony, it's a standard size balcony. That doesn't sway me either way. I just love having a balcony because we do spend a lot of time out there. So what are the cons of this room? Well, sorry, on a Vision class ship, you're gonna have this con in almost every room unless you're in a suite, is the very small shower with a shower curtain. And that shower curtain, as you know, can just stick to you and get in your way. The other con of this room is it's an older ship, it is dated. This is what you're gonna get on this class of ship, and that's all there is to it. So if you're prepared for that, not a big deal. It doesn't bother us at all. We're more about the functionality of the room. If you want the latest design, modern decor, you want to be on a more newer, modern ship than Enchantment of the Seas. So would we stay in 7560 again? Absolutely we would. We thought this was a great room for our trip. We really enjoyed it, and we would stay in this room again. So if you liked this review and overview of room 7560 here on Enchantment of the Seas, please go ahead and hit that like button. And also, make sure you check out the rest of the Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future cruising content. This is Matt with Cruises, Rooms, and Reviews. Happy cruising, everybody.